Hello, my name is Jeremy Sorrell and I'm speaking to you on behalf of Palmer's Solicitors. Announced in March, just before the stringent stay-at-home measures severely limited the circumstances in which any of us could leave our own homes, the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme has been seen as the flagship government measure to try and limit the damage caused by the coronavirus crisis. Since March, the scheme has allowed employers to furlough employees, keeping them on the payroll, whilst requiring that they carry out no work for the employer. Employers have been able to claim a grant worth up to 80% of their usual wages, capped at £2,500 per month, plus employer national insurance contributions and automatic enrolment pension contributions. However, the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, has now announced a series of changes to the scheme which will begin to take effect in the coming weeks. The Chancellor has announced several important changes to the way the scheme operates, which will affect which employees can be furloughed and the work they can undertake whilst furloughed. Firstly, the scheme closes to most employees not previously furloughed for a full 3-week period from the 1st of July. This means that the scheme will, in effect, have closed to new entrants from the 10th of June. The exception to this is where an employee who had not previously been furloughed returns from parental leave, including both maternity and paternity leave. At the same time, employers will not be able to furlough more employees in the claim period than the maximum number of employees claimed for under the scheme in its current form. Secondly, from the 1st of July, employers will be able to bring back employees furloughed on a part-time basis under a system of flexible furlough. Employees can be brought back for any amount of time and on any shift pattern, with employers still able to claim for hours not worked that a furloughed employee otherwise would work. Furthermore, the maximum claim period will only be 1 week. Employers will have to pay furloughed employees their full wages for the time that they work, including any pension contributions and national insurance contributions. Thirdly, from the 1st of August, the value of the CJRS grant will begin to taper. From August onwards, the grants will no longer cover the cost of employer NICs and pension contributions, with these costs passing to employers. However, the grants will still cover 80% of an employee's usual wages up to the monthly cap of £2,500. From September, CJRS grants will only cover 70% of the usual wages of furloughed employees, but these employees will remain entitled to receive 80% of their usual wages, and the additional 10% must be made up by the employer. October's CJRS grants will fall to 60% of a furloughed employee's usual wages, but as with September, the employee will still be entitled to 80% of their usual wages, meaning that now the employer will have to make up 20% of the usual wages of their employee. But again, of course, this is subject to the cap of £2,500 per month. As expected, the scheme will close at the end of October, and it will not be possible to claim a grant in respect of any furloughed employee after that date. And this will lead to a cliff edge in support, with employers suddenly needing to cover 100% of an employee's wages in November, having been liable to just 20% in October. At this point, employers will need to make a decision as to whether to bring back those furloughed employees as working previously, to negotiate new contracts of employment with them, or to make them redundant. If you currently have employees on furlough, you do not need to change anything until August, when you will then start to need to make contributions of pension and national insurance. However, it will be open to you to bring back employees on a part-time basis from the 1st of July, and you can still claim a grant in respect of their usual hours of work. This arrangement will then remain in place until the close of the scheme at the end of October, but you should bear in mind that the value of the grant will begin to taper from August onwards. There are two key steps involved in bringing back an employee on flexible furlough from the 1st of July. First, you will need to agree a new flexible furlough arrangement with the employee in writing, and that will need to set out the new working arrangements. Secondly, you will need to report as part of your claim the number of hours worked by the furloughed employee and the number of hours they would usually work. Where you have employees on flexible furlough arrangements, calculating the amount of the grant you need to claim could quickly become extremely complicated indeed. And in these circumstances, it is a good idea to seek professional advice in order to avoid erroneous claims. I do hope this has been helpful. Goodbye.